Sometime around 1910 or 1911, according to Ellen White's youngest granddaughter, Ellen White was approached by an evangelical publishing house. They wanted her to prepare a book manuscript just for them. Now, when the first edition of Steps to Christ was printed in 1892, it was printed by an evangelical publisher, Fleming H. Revell. And according, as near as we can tell from our records at the White estate, to try to figure out when this story happened that Ellen White's youngest granddaughter remembered, it was probably the same company, Fleming H. Revell. Whoever it was, they had arranged to come to Elmshaven, Ellen White's home in Northern California. And of course, if they're going to get an author, any author, if you're going to get an author to publish or to produce a book so that you can publish it exclusively, why, there has to be a signed legal contract. And so they came to Ellen White's home at Elmshaven. Up on the second floor, the east end of the second floor, she had built, after she bought the house, she had built a big, airy room with big windows, bright and cheery. That's where she did most of her writing, and that's where she met the representatives from this publishing company. So they came. She was seated, as Grace told me, she was seated, and they were in a semicircle with their chairs kind of facing hers, but in kind of a half circle. And they began to talk to her about this book that they wanted her to produce just for them so they could have the exclusive rights to publish it. And first one and after another one would talk about what they needed and what they wanted her to do, and how if they had the permission, if she did this and they gave her exclusive permission, they would promote the book heavily, and that would mean bigger sales. They knew it was expensive for Ellen White to bring out her books, and so it all seemed like it was the way to go. And when they got through with their presentation, they put the contract there in front of her, because she would have to sign a legal contract saying that she was going to do this and then give them exclusive rights to it. And she reached over to pick up her pen, and then she laid it back down. And they thought, well, Mrs. White's getting old. Maybe she doesn't understand what we need from her. And so they briefly went through the proposal a second time. Now, this time it was apparently not as detailed as the first presentation, but the second time she didn't even pick up her pen. She just changed the subject tactfully, started talking about something else. So her son, W.C. White, Willie White, took the men downstairs, seated them in the parlor. He came back upstairs and he found his mother still seated right where she'd been, same chair. And he knelt down next to her and he said, "Mother, you understand why these men are here?" "Yes." "You know they want you to produce a book for their publishing company?" "Yes." "Well, you know if you're going to do that, you need to sign that contract they brought." He said, "In fact, I thought you were going to sign it. You picked up the pen and then you laid it back down. Why is that?" She said, "Willie, as I picked up that pen to sign that contract, I saw an angel standing behind the men gesturing. And I know I'm not to sign that contract. I don't know why, but I know I'm not to sign that contract." Well, Willie knew that if an angel had indicated to his mother not to sign the contract, those men could sit downstairs in the parlor for 6 months or a year, and they were not going to get a signature on the contract. So he went down and told them thank you for coming, but that his mother was not going to be producing the book for them. Now, what Ellen White did not understand then is very obvious today. Any Ellen White book can be published by any Adventist publishing house anywhere in the world. If she'd given exclusive rights to this non-Adventist publisher for that one book, we would have had to deal, as a church, we would have had to deal with that publishing house or its successor anytime we wanted to print that book. And God didn't want that. It just is one little reminder of how important Ellen White's books are to God, and therefore they should be that important also to us.